Breaking news, the Plymouth County District Attorney is updating us right now on the investigation after 2 young children were found stabbed to death in Brockton. Let's listen in.
The children, ages 5 and 8, were determined to be deceased at the scene, and the Brockton police contacted the state police assigned to my office, and that began the homicide investigation. The victims are 2 brothers, ages 5 and 8. We are not identifying them by name at this time. Police conducted multiple interviews with people associated with the victims. Just in the last hour, the victim's mother, LaTarsha Sanders, date of birth 8/9/74, was placed under arrest and has been charged with 2 counts of murder in the deaths of her 2 children. Ms. Sanders made statements that could be construed as admissions to this crime to the investigators. Those will be shared tomorrow at her arraignment at the Brockton District Court. The state police and the Brockton police still continue to work the scene. The investigation remains open. The motive is undeveloped at this time, and the investigation has yet to fully unfold. Because when something as tragic as this occurs, we're all left wondering how, why could this happen? All crime scenes are grisly, but these victims were innocent children. This was a gruesome, a disturbing, and most of all, a heartbreaking crime. I want to commend the work of the state police and the Brockton police. The state police led by Major Warmington, right here, Lieutenant LaGrice by the Brockton police. The investigation has moved swiftly and is still unfolding, but their work has been incredibly diligent. We believe that the deaths of these 2 young children occurred sometime in the last 48 hours. We believe the victims were stabbed to death. I am not commenting at this point regarding numbers of stabs or locations. We will wait for the medical examiner's report before we divulge that information. Right now, as we stand here, we continue to work on our search warrant to make sure we get into the apartment building in a lawful manner. Ms. Sanders, if you have questions regarding it, does have other kids, and residents are back into the building. At this time, we believe that she acted alone, and we also believe that currently there is no risk to the general public. And with that, that is my statement at this time. I'll answer questions if we have questions for people here to the best that I can.
Where were the bodies found? Were they in different places in the house? And did she confess to the crime?
Well, I'm not going to make any comments regarding her statements at this point. Like I said, they'll be divulged tomorrow at the arraignment. But the bodies were inside the apartment. We'll be more specific tomorrow regarding what we believe to be the motive and also what we believe to be when it occurred.
Was she taken to the hospital?
My understanding is simply she went to the hospital. Right now she's in custody of the Brockton Police Department.
DA Cruz, does she have any history with DCF? Were there any previous reports of problems with her children? Do we have any reason to believe these children were in danger before?
Well, I'm not going to comment whether or not, obviously, if the kids were in danger, then there was a responsibility and accountability and other agencies to act. I'm not aware of any right now, but that, once again, remains to be seen, and we're going to continue to look into that.
Are you saying the brothers were dead in the house for up to 48 hours before she sought help? Before she came out today and told the neighbor to call 911?
It's my understanding that the children were in the home for approximately 48 hours. We believe them to have been deceased that entire time period.
Were they stabbed more than once?
Well, I said multiple, and I'm going to leave it at that at this point. Like I said, I think we're better off waiting for the medical examiner's office to give us the specifics, the location of the stabs, and also, the manner and means of death that we're going to need in order to prosecute the case.
Did she tell a neighbor to call 911? How did it all play out this afternoon?
Well, my understanding is that I'm not going to get into the specifics of it, but that she did leave her apartment, and as a result of that, a neighbor did make a phone call, and that led to the Brockton police and fire and EMTs to show up at the place.
How did she leave her apartment?
How did she leave it?
Correct. Any reports that she walked out the door, jumped out the window?
I don't know. That's still part of the investigation at this point.
Was she upset? One of the neighbors described her as hysterical.
Yeah, I don't have any comment on what the neighbors had to say. Like I said, we're going to continue to do our investigation and find out what we can as best as we can and try to put the event together in the totality that we can. We'll let whatever the neighbors have to say, we'll certainly be talking to them, and we're going to conduct our case as we see fit.
DA Cruz, you mentioned earlier that there was another child, at least one other child, living there. Have you been able to locate that child? Is that child safe?
My understanding is that any other children that belong in that building are safe.
Did the children live in that apartment with their mother?
The two decedents? My understanding is they did live there.
Is the father aware or anywhere in the picture?
We have had conversations with the family regarding what's happened there at Prospect Street. My understanding is he's aware of what's gone on.
Were the brothers asleep at the time, can you tell, or was it a struggle?
I don't know. I think it'll be indicative as to what the ME has to say on that.
But you just said they found in their bedrooms in their bed at the time?
I don't have the specifics as to where they were actually located, except for the fact that they were in the apartment. Okay. Are there any other questions?
Spelling on mom's name?
First name, Latarsa, Sanders, Sanders. Latarsha L. Sanders.
Any criminal record on her in the past?
I don't have any information on that regarding her record. Any record that she may have, we'll certainly be dealing with that tomorrow at the arraignment.
Did she have any current or past position with the city, whether it be for the mayor or anybody here? Do you know of that?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that I'm aware of.
All right. Her date of birth is 8/9/74.